Hi everyone, Fabian here. In this week, we actually had a lot happening in the world of Semantic Kernel and Copilot Agent Plugins, which is a feature that we shipped last week, but we put some docs and samples out this week. And in the docs and samples, actually, let's go here. Not there actually. Let's go to here. You would have seen this readme.md file that actually has two videos associated with it. One that goes over introducing Semantic Kernel and also how it plays into Copilot Agent Plugins and the value proposition and what it means for you as developers building solutions interacting with Microsoft 365. The second video is actually a runtime demo showing the one that I would call best. In fact, the theme that I'm going with is good, better, and best. And what you're going to see here today in this video is if you've never touched Semantic Kernel before and don't even know what M365 is, working with the data, the Microsoft Graph, I'm actually going to do that. Probably shouldn't, but we're going to do it. We're going to hand code that, do live code in here today to show what that experience is. Don't worry, I have a backup here in terms of copy and pasting in case I start making typographical errors, which usually happens when I'm talking and typing at the same time. And I have little notes, all around the office here that you will be able to use as well. But the purpose of today and the reason why you want to watch this video is because I'm going to show you from a bare minimum what it takes to create a Semantic Kernel console application. You could have this in your own application as a web app. It probably will not be a console app in real life, but the concepts are going to be the same. Loading the libraries, loading the kernel object, and registering configuration settings, registering services, and then having a conversation with it, whether it is an agent or a human. So we're going to go through that process here today. I'm going to hand code that bit. Then we're going to look at another sample that I've already created. It's out there on GitHub, so don't worry about it. I'll point you to the repo as well, and I'll link it somewhere inside of this video so that you can see it. But that will show you what I call better. Better is basically doing everything that we've done in best in two files. One is going to be the program.cs file, which is going to be the meat of the application. And another one is going to be an authentication file, which allows us to auth into Microsoft Graph using OAuth. Best is what you see inside this screen right here. And what best is, it gives you the ability to use Azure OpenAI and Olama. It has a debugger mode that shows you all of the calls that you're making. It shows you the manifest. It shows you, a trace stack. It shows you everything. What I want to give you today is good and better. I never did that. And good, if you've never seen this before, will make sense because you're going to say, oh, okay, that makes sense. I now understand why I want to use Semantic Kernel. Better is scaling down best into something that is easy to follow. Two files only. One that does everything and one that does the authentication. So let's get cracking. So we're going to get rid of this here. We don't need that anymore. And also I'm going to push this to my GitHub as well. And we're going to call this where we are, ls clear.net new console -n, and we're going to call this the good bits. The good bits. All right. Okay. That sounds right? Yep. Okay, cool. All right. So now we have the ls, we have here the good bits, so we can do cd good asterisk. Let's get us right inside there. Good. All right. So we can do code dot, and that opens up Visual Studio Code. Let's put it in its own little window here. We can get rid of that. All right. So the first thing you have when you do this is just your bit, and let's make this a little bit bigger. Command plus. There we go. You have here a program.cs file, and you have here a CS proj file with nothing inside there. All right. So the first thing what we need to do, and we're going to cheat a little bit as well too, because I can't have you seeing what's inside my app settings.json file. In fact, let's go do that now. So I'm going to come over to here, Finder, and I'm going to grab this app settings.json file and do a copy. And I'm going to go to the good bits and do a paste. This basically houses my keys and all of my settings that I'm going to need in order to communicate with OpenAI, which is the LLM hosting platform that I'm going to be using for today. But for now, let's go ahead and do terminal, new terminal. And, oh, really? Not now? No, let's not do it now. Okay, clear again. Oops. Helps when you can type. So we're going to do .NET add package in Microsoft Semantic Kernel, and we're going to do -- version because I know this works, and 1.36.1. All right, okay. So if we go and take a look now inside CS Proj, we now have this guy. All right. So let's now do another .NET add, and then we're going to come back here and do Microsoft extensions configuration. Is that plural? Nope. -- version 0. Sorry. Yeah, 9.0.1. All right. And close and open. I see it there. Restored package. Succeeded. Okay, not found. What is it? Okay, hold on. EXTENS. Oh, can't spell. EXTENSION configuration. There it is. Okay, and then we're going to do the same thing, and we're going to do .json. .json. Same version. All right, cool. So now we have these 3 items here. We're going to do clear. And we're going to need semantic kernel because we're using semantic kernel. We're going to use the configurations and the configuration. Well, we need configuration so that we can actually load the configuration from the app setting JSON files. And we're going to be reading JSON, so we're using the .json as well. All right, so we're going to come over back to here. And let's go ahead and actually change this to a main style programming. And let us go ahead also and do static async task. And it's in task main. And then, yeah, that should be it. Yeah, cool. And then let's go ahead now and start to work with this. Okay, boom. I think just for giggle's sake, let's make sure this all works. It should, but .NET run. We should see a hello world command. There it is, hello world. Good to go. And yeah, we know the await has nothing because we're not returning anything yet. All right. So with this, let's go ahead now and actually set up a few things. So at the top level, let's do a private static, and we're going to create an I configuration, and we're going to do I configuration, and then we're going to do an underscore. Well, we'll do an underscore. Oh, yes, we want the semicolon, but we'll do an underscore here. And this is me now. The underscore is because when I was doing this real work and in semantic kernel, they have very strict SDLCs in terms of what the pipeline looks like. And the naming is, you got to name things right. So now it's just beaten inside me now. Private again, static. And we're going to do a, actually, no, we don't need to do that yet. We're going to do that in the other one. Okay. All right. So with that, let's come down here now and remove this. And let's do a load config. And we're going to do a var configuration builder equal new configuration builder. Yep. And then we're going to come down here and we're going to do a Oh, we don't need the semicolon yet. Oh, look at that. Wow, that's exactly what we need. Copilots to, I'm sorry, GitHub Copilot to the rescue. I think that's correct. Hold on, let me make sure. JSON optional false. Yeah, real. Yeah, that is actually correct. And then what we need now, let me see. Okay. Yeah, we don't need that dot. That dot goes away. And then, yep. I love GitHub Copilot. Okay, so this actually gives us everything that we need for that. And then let's come down here now and do a, you know what? It must have been reading the stuff I've done before, because this is eerily exactly like my prompt. So yeah, maybe it did. All right, so let's go now and do initialize kernel. Am I in the right one? Yeah, I'm in the right one. That is good. Yeah. Okay. All right. So a couple of things to do. We're gonna do a var. Not that one yet. We don't need that yet. API key is equal to dot. Oh, yeah, we definitely want that. That's pretty cool. And then we're gonna do var model ID is equal to. Well, we don't have that. Well, we could, but what? I don't want to go look inside here now. That's fine. And we're going to do equals, and we're going to do GPT. Nope, we want 4.0. And we're going to do that. Yep, that's good. Okay, cool. So we have that. Now what we're going to do, yeah, it's already giving me stuff. That's pretty cool, but we don't want all of that yet. Let's work with it a little bit. We're going to do a var kernel builder is equal to, and no, we don't want that one. We want equal kernel dot create builder. Yep, we definitely want that. And now, and we do want this, so that's good. Oh, not with, do we want it with that? No, what we want is add OpenAI chat completion. There it is. Yep, that works now. Exactly. This is really awesome. Okay, let's move this down so we can actually see what we're doing. And there we go. Okay, cool. All right. So, and we definitely need this right here. So we need for our kernel equal kernel builder.build. All right, cool. At this point in time right now, if we did this kernel dot, you can actually see here that you could actually do a ton of stuff. The key things with semantic kernel is that you can register and use plugins, register new services. It's something I did in the first video. You can invoke prompts directly from here. You literally can go to town from here as well, but that's all well and good. All right. What we want to do is we want to now add some services or load skills. Well, let's go with that. Let's go with that. So we're going to do kernel build. I'm trying to check my notes here. Yeah, kernel. Yeah. Yep. Okay. So var chat service is equal to. Now we don't want to do that. Kernel dot get required service. This one. And we want the iChat, I believe it's iChat completion. Yep, that one. iChat completion service. Yep, that one. And then, yep, that's correct. And then what we want to do now is we want to create a chat history. Chat history. Yeah, I guess we can use that as well too. Except we're going to change the chat history and make chat history a chat messages. Yep, that works. Prefer that. All right. What have we done so far? Let's actually, should we do that? No, we're not going to do that. We could. But what we've done so far now is we've added from the configurations, the ID for my OpenAI, because we're going to be using that from Extensions.JSON. We have registered the OpenAI chat completion service. Remember we said we can do plugin and services. And then we basically now new up the kernel object by doing kernel builder.build. This is using a pattern of the builder pattern that's familiar in .NET, and using dependency injection, not dependency, sorry, then using the builder object to register services, register configuration, and then create the object. This is now using DI down here in order to get the services working. All right, so now that we've done the chat history, let's actually do something now. Let's go ahead and because we want to have a conversation, but we want to do it so it's it's continuous and not just passing something in. So let's do a while true. Wow. Oh, wait a minute. Let's try this. Tab. And how much do I have here that I need? That's good. Yeah, user messages, good. Chat service, we don't want that one. So chat service dot get streaming. Yep, that one is what we want, and it's not an await, so we can get rid of that. And result. Nope, it's not. Okay, let me check my notes. Chat messages. Yep, that's correct. We don't need this bit right here. Let's actually get rid of that. What we want to do now is we want to do a var full conversation. Nope. What we want that to be just this. All right. Ah, bugger. Go away. And there we go. That does work. This actually does work. Okay, and now we want console.writeLine, and what we want under here, content is chat messages. Yep, exactly. There we go. That works. All right. Okay. This looks like it's good. Let's actually just run it and see what happens. File, save all, and then .NET run. All right. Enter your message or okay. So hi, my name is Fabian. Oh, there it is. It does. Oh, yeah, we should have done a console read line, console.write line. There we go. And then let's do quit. And what? Exit. Clear. And then save this again. File, save all, and then .NET run. All right, and then I'm going to say hi. My name is, if I can spell. All right, there it is. Cool. So it just dropped me to the other line. Okay. Oh, I did not console.write line assistant result. No. Full conversation. No. Yeah, that's right, exactly. File, save all. And so add. Yeah, we don't need this. We just need no, we need that. What we don't need is this. Console assistant. Yeah, we don't need that. We don't need this bit. File, save all. Exit. Clear, .NET run. So again, spelling. Hi, my name is Fabian. There it is. Cool. All right. So now we actually have something that is working. Okay. So, in no more than 2 sentences, tell me how easy it is to get started with Semantic Kernel. Right. Boom, done. Now here's the catch. What is the last email in my inbox? We can't do that, right? So this is the entire reason we're solving this with caps. What caps allows you to do, which you've seen in the other videos, is that we will now use the Microsoft Graph with Semantic Kernel, and we're going to provide you some plugins, and we've hand-rolled 4 plugins. One is for messages, one is for events, one is for contacts, and one is for drive items. Right now, the only 2 baked ones, well, 2.5 baked ones are messages, which will allow you to read email and send an email. Contacts, which will allow you to read a contact, and that's important in the demo that I do, because I actually tell it, have you heard from this person, and check and see if they have an email, and because the contact has the person's email address and their name, it knows how to get it. And it can also read from a calendar. It can't create a calendar event yet. That is what we're working on for the next release cycle, and then we'll be working on files and then something else afterwards. But what you can see here is that in just whatever minutes it took to get here, we've, with a few mistakes as we're live coding, you've able to create something with Semantic Kernel that can talk to an LLM. So we'll do an exit here, and we'll put this to bed. In fact, we'll just do a GAA for GitHub add. We'll do a GCM, and we'll do a live demo worked, and then we'll do a GPSH to push that. GPSH. To push that up, and now that's inside the repo for LuxMentis under .NET, under caps, under the good bits. So that's there now for you. All right, cool. Minus the app settings files, I'm sure. Let's double check that. I know my GitHub ignore is supposed to actually take that out, but let's see. Let's go back to caps, and there's the good bits, and yep, we're good to go. So you can see it's already there. All right, so let's go to better and show you how better works. So this is better. Better builds on top. You notice it's the exact same patterns that you see here, but let's walk through it a little bit and make this a little bit bigger as well too. So Control plus. Let's first talk about this file. So this is the authentication file that I mentioned before. It's a separate class that allows you, that I'm calling from inside program.cs, which you'll see in a second. And what it does, it also looks inside the app settings file for a client ID and a tenant ID. It is also using device code flow. So it is going to have a dot, it's going to take a pattern of, you'll see it a little bit later, where it's going to look for a token. If it doesn't see a token, it's going to issue a device code auth, give me a code, and I'm going to put it in somewhere and it's going to work. We're going to get to that. Once that's done, it's going to also look at the tenant ID. To the way that this is registered, it's a single tenant application. So it's looking for what the people that's authenticated, that's going to get the device code flow, needs to be inside the tenant that matches that tenant ID. The next thing is that it is going to, down here, it is going to do one of 2 things. If you've already provided device code auth and get a token, it is going to have that token available inside the cache. Of course, this cache can expire, or you could be going against a different endpoint, which is going to want to re-authenticate to make sure you have the scope. Also, this is set for local host. Because of the outflow that we're doing, and .default after Microsoft.com means that it is going to look inside the application that's registered for the scopes that are going to be allowed to the person that's authenticating, and not necessarily inside what's inside your app settings.json, although you could do it explicitly there as well. So that's that bit. Okay, let's look at now program files.cs. Now this is a little bit more involved. The last code that we did, let's see where it is. This one is 53 lines of code. As you can see here, it is significantly more. But there's something down here that we actually say, magic, don't look under the hood. This is going to come important a little bit later on, and I'll get to it. And this is one of the reasons why I wanted to do this video, because I wanted to make sure that you are set up for success. And you may see me do stuff here and it works, and then you try it and it does not work, and you don't know why it doesn't work unless you come inside there and start to go through code. But let's do it step by step. So same thing again you saw me do before. We have the configuration as we did before. What we're introducing here now is logger. And we're introducing logger as a dependency injection into the kernel object so that we can actually log what we're seeing in case of like errors. And then we can actually, have that as something that we can inspect, or we can also output to the screen. This is the authentication class that you saw before. So we're just creating a static variable to manage that. Now, this is not new to you. You saw me do that in the previous one. And here we're just setting up the logger factory. And here we are setting up a logger for the authentication class so we can also log inside there as well. The next thing that we're doing here is in the other example, you saw me just create all of that. Well, let's just go down here. All of this before we have the API key. Here we're just a little bit more login, and we're doing GPT-4o for this one. And we're doing the same thing, add the AI chat completion with the model ID and API key, and we're doing the builder. The only difference here is that we're doing it inside a separate method, and we're returning the kernel object, whereas the kernel object was inside the other main method. The next thing we're doing is load plugins async, and this one now is where we should actually spend some time and talk about it. Let's move this over a little bit as well. So inside here, what you have, plugins async, is we're passing in here the kernel, right? So when we load the plugin, we want to also pass the kernel inside there. And what we're doing is we're identifying, yeah, I should have talked about that, shouldn't I? So one of the things that's also new in here is this plugins folder, and inside the plugins folder, this Copilot Agent Plugins. You can call it whatever you want. Just make sure that you delineate it here or somewhere, and give it a variable. Inside here, and we'll just look at all of them for a minute. What you'll see is that there are two files, and this is where Kyoto comes in. So Kyoto, which is in here somewhere, but that's a lesson for another day. This is the Kyoto icon, right? Yep, exactly. What Kyoto does, it allows you to point to a OpenAPI specification file. Now, in this case, this is the Microsoft Graph OpenAPI specification file. And then you can select, and if you're familiar with the OpenAPI specification file, it has functions and descriptions and everything inside there that tells it what an API is going to do, all right? So the OpenAPI spec is describing the API, and the API is going to be acting on some resources in order to take some action. In this case, the API is graph, and then the resources is what's inside M365, and OpenAPI description does all of that. Our OpenAPI description file is over 800,000 lines long. So that presents a challenge if you try to load that all into one plugin. It's not going to read all of that. It's going to stop. And even if it did read all of that, trying to have an LLM reason over that from beginning to end, your context window is going to take a beating. And even if it did load everything inside the context window, then it is going to have a difficult time trying to infer what to do with what. It's just too much information. So what Kyoto allows you to do, it allows you to selectively choose the functions that you want by, a little checkbox here, checkbox there, and then you can create either a client. So what that was Kyoto was originally maintained to do was create a client for you from any OpenAPI descriptor that you can use in an application. But now you can also create a Copilot plugin. And a Copilot plugin is going to have two files inside there. It's going to have a YAML file, which let's go ahead and click on it. It's going to have a YAML file that is going to be, stop doing that, which is going to have the methods that you selected. And this one is me.messages of Microsoft Graph version 1, not the beta. And also me.sendMail. And you notice it also have inside here properties. It has a schema. It has what's required. It has parameters. This will come in a little bit more important later on when we start to look at, create date, body preview, all of these items inside here. Now, this is important for all of the things that I said is going to be under the hood, and I'll get to that. But this file here, the JSON file, is now our manifest file. And inside here, it's pointing to the two functions, which is me.sendMail and me.listMessages. Should actually say send mail. Okay. Must be somewhere else somewhere. Okay, I'll get back to that. But basically, one should be one is going to read messages, one is going to send messages. And then you'll see the same thing inside of in contacts. This only has one method. It's basically me.contacts to find the contacts because we're not writing contacts. And inside here, basically, it's just one method, which is list contacts and pointing to the YAML file. Okay. So with that, let's come back over to program.cs and we're going to go back to here. So we've defined the plugins and the folder, and what we're going to do now is just create. When we tell it to tell us if the plugins are loaded, we're going to look at the plugin name, which is a folder name, and then we're going to look for the manifest file, which is anything with the .json file. So we're just setting that up. Now this is important. So one of the things that we're doing here is when you working with semantic kernel, and well, I guess semantic kernel, even OpenAPI as well too, you can do you can manage the function parameters. So you're gonna basically manage how it knows what plugin to call, and also how to authenticate against the plugin. What's important inside here for the OpenAPI function execution parameters is to pass the token. So sometimes people will ask me, hey, when you authenticate, how does it work? How does it know when you type something in what to use? Is because a part of the OpenAPI function execution parameter is us passing the token in as well. And if the token is not there, then we'll device code auth you. But this where it says parameter filter and it says srest, let's actually go to definition. You'll notice that this is all down here inside the region settings. So this right here, what we're doing is, it's not magic per se, but the problem that we're trying to solve, which you may end up trying to solve yourself, not for this because we've already worked it out for you, but if you wanted to do your own functions and your own APIs, is that you may have an OpenAPI specification that you create or someone has created for you. And it may have a schema that is following that could be complex. A flat schema where it's just key value pairs is easy. It's flat. It's easy. Boom, 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 boom. Sometimes you may actually have where it's a nested, and then now you have a property, and then it's an array, and then inside the array you also have key value pairs. That happens inside the send mail because the email is actually the email address is actually an array, and you need to manage that. Also, the other items inside here we don't necessarily need. And the way that we're structuring this plugin is that you're going to give it an utterance, and it needs to figure out what do I take from this in order to call, because I need this plugin, which is going to be this send mail plugin, and I want it to also send the right parameters over. So we've done some magic here. One of the ones that we should call out is this one here, where we're doing some, we're looking for if the me.sendMail function is called, and then we're going to basically do some filters and some trimming, and we're trimming away the properties that we do not need. So let's come back up to here and go down a little bit more. Because it's going to come into something that's going to come into effect. Where is that? Yeah, it's coming up. Okay, so now that we've done all of that, then we load everything, and we basically give you a message telling you that hey, everything's done, all the plugins are loaded, and then we do an await kernel.import plugin from Copilot Agent Plugin async. This right here is the extension method that we've created that allows you in semantic kernel that allows this to all work. So if you go, we didn't show that bit, didn't we? Right here. So this is what we had in the previous example. We loaded these. Now inside this one, you have identity to the client for MSAL, login for the login that we're doing, plugins because we're using plugins. But this guy here, OpenAPI.extension, this is where the method extension that we've created for this feature comes in play, and a lot of work goes into that. But a lot of work that goes into that also needs to come here as well, where we have the region setting and we're doing some creative stuff here. And this is where inside Program CS, if you're doing your own stuff, you would probably, have another one, maybe a case statement now looking for different methods and, if this, then do something else. And what you're going to be doing is massaging and filtering out things that you don't want to use. And that is, that becomes in play when the LLM just can't reason over it and you need to tune it in essence. One of the other things that we're doing as well is that we're leveraging something in Semantic Kernel called auto invoke function calling. And that is part of the prompt execution settings and the function called behavior. And one of the things that we're doing here is also setting strict schema adherence. So the reason why we're doing all of that stuff in the region is because now we've set the schema to strict. It expects to see a certain amount, or it expects to see what's required and not optional. So we have to make sure that that is collected. And by doing that, we now know that we have a minimum set of parameters that we're sending to the API when we're calling it, so it will work. And if it doesn't see it, then it'll fail. It won't just abandon and do something stupid. Or it won't load it with things it doesn't need. So that's the reason why we set the strict setting. And this is what you saw me demo in the other one, but we'll demo this one here as well so you can actually see it. So terminal, new terminal. And let's do a clear, and let's do a .NET run. Well, let's type properly. All right. So you can see here, this one is not as fancy as the best one. It loads all the plugins right up front. And I'll do something. I'll do, hi, my name is Fabian again. All right. You'll notice it comes back and say, hey, whatever. That's cool. Hey, Fabian. All right. And if I come here and say, in 2 sentences or less, tell me how easy it is to learn Semantic Kernel. All right. Done. All right. So same thing you saw me do before. Now look at this one. Now I'm going to say, what can you tell? We should do this first. Let's come to here, and we're in ADL Advanced. Let's go to AKA Graph Explorer and come down to contacts here and my contacts and click run, and then move this up, and you'll see that ADL Vance here. All right, come on, show ADL. Well, you can see it's ADL here, right? Exactly. Has a Kaiser Sose. Notice the phone number starts with 210, ends with 888. It has that email address and Gmail account. We're going to need this soon, so let me just get it up and running right now. All right, so I'm going to say inside here, what can you tell me about my contact? Contact Kaiser Sose. All right, now you can see it's now authenticating me. It didn't do that before because now it realized I need a token. So I'm going to come here now and go to here and then put this code in, Control V, click next. Log in as ADL, sign in, notice the sample name, and it says we've signed in. So if I come back over to here now, we can see it acquired a token using device flow, and boom, it found everything with the proper phone number and with the email address. So we know that this works. Let's do something else. Let's actually pull this guy up here. I'm going to say, what is the last few emails I got from Kaiser? This is something I did in my other sample that you saw with the best one. So I'm trying to use the exact same prompts. So if you saw that video, this should make sense for you as well. So paste. All right. And I'm going to press enter. Now this is, notice it says now bearer token and bearer token again. So it did it twice now because this is going after the mail endpoint. So I want to make sure that it's authenticated for that and everything is working. So what I expect to come back, I won't move away from the screen, but I'll show it to you a little bit later on, is a series of emails, probably in a list. There it is right here. The last one gave us in a table. So now you can see how stuff works with this non-deterministic stuff, right? This was in a nice format of the table, not just, But you can see how it's talking about follow up on Kaiser Sosa meeting and reports, summary of attendance, confirmation of recent meetings and discussion, details about meetings changes due to weather, and confirmation of participation from Monday sprint huddle and afternoon huddle. This is a calendar invite, and so on and so forth. Let's go take a look at Adele over here and go to here. And you'll notice it has about Wednesday the 12th morning report talking about, snow day, how much centimeters or inches of snow, and schools are mostly closed, which is the reason why it have that. And also you'd notice inside our calendar, it has about the afternoon huddle that's here, and about the Monday sprint, the Monday sprint huddle, and also the the afternoon huddle on Wednesday as well, which is what you saw over here as well, afternoon huddle. Now, let's do something other really cool. We're going to actually now act on something. I'm going to say, and go back over to here. I'm going to now come inside here and do a paste and say, what are my last few emails from Kaiser? I want you to send a summary of the email to my chief of staff, which is another email account that I do have, and send a summary. And I want you to come up with your own subject line, and I want you to send a summary. All right. So same thing again, goes through the token bits. And now we can see the third time because we're using a different plugin. And it says, now I've reviewed the emails from Kaiser Sosa and I sent a summary to your chief of staff. Here's what the summary content sent. And I can see it on my watch here that it's there. So I'll come over to here under Gmail. I will come to not Kaiser, but I'll go to this person here. And now I have, don't want that. Now I come here and I can see what time, February 12th, February 14. Let's refresh this. There it is here, 8:38 p.m. aligns with 2039, and we click on it here and we can see this is the email that it says it's going to send me. So we've seen now how you can action an email. So I can tell it, hey, go look over here in my inbox and find it some information about X, and then take that, reason over it, come up with your own subject line, come up with your own email body, and email it to somebody over here in Y. And now you can see how you can move things back and forth. Now, in essence, what we have now is a workflow that we're able to do. But the agent, or I'm using the word agent here now loosely, the experience that I've built here was able to do that on its own without my intervention. So I've given it that control. Now, if I wanted to, I could actually have it go to my my drafts folder, and then I could go ahead and then refine and send it. But with that doesn't make for a good demo. So we've done this here today. So hopefully what you've seen here today, this is a lengthy one. I'm very sorry, but what I wanted to have is something in case people get blocked when they look at the best scenario, because it is involved. And I wanted to tear that down and show you how it all sticks together and how it works, so that when you go through your own work, if you need to troubleshoot something, you can reference this video. If you have any questions, please, use one of the links, which I think is, I can't remember now, it's ak.ms/m365 caps-focus. Give us that feedback there. I do remember it. And for the rest, go back to ak.ms/m365 caps hyphen quick start demo in order to get to the README file. Thank you very much. Happy coding.